Hello YouTube, this is Logan Film Studios with Micro Megatron. So like my previous Transformer, the Micro Optimus Prime, this Megatron is based on his incarnation from Generation 1, with his alt mode being a Walther P-38 pistol. Although, due to its scale, it's not entirely accurate by any means. I mean, the handle looks okay, but then you get here and the triggers kind of would be in this gap, but it's kind of above the handle rather than in front of it. And then you can see here the barrel here is black instead of the gray, which is a move that I did on my large-scale Megatron as well, but it's something I'm probably going to fix on the whenever I make a second version of that figure. You can also sort of see the red poking through here. That's going to be more relevant in robot mode. But overall, I think I did a decent job at interpreting the gun mode in such a small scale and making it turn into a relatively good looking robot. For size comparisons, here is Micro Megatron next to Micro Optimus Prime, and here he is next to a minifigure. And yeah, this is a pretty big gun. But hey, it's G1, so scale doesn't matter, right? Like many other gun mode Megatrons, the transformation is actually pretty involved. Getting rid of this clear stand, first what we're going to do is split apart the arms right here, making sure that the fusion cannon is on the correct arm. Then we are going to rotate this plate here and rotate around these sections with the clip and the tile. Do that on the other side. Now we can rotate around this black T-joint, and we're going to want to take this slope and rotate it around. It's on a jumper plate there. And then split the legs, just kind of sliding them out on the clips, and rotate them around like that. Bring them down. Now we can rotate the torso down and rotate this tile down and kind of make this flush with the jumper plate that's below it. Then we're going to take these tiles and rotate them around so that they're kind of beside the clip and the T-joint here. This is kind of an illegal technique because they sort of have to be unstudded just a little bit. You can see it's not perfectly flat there, but it works well enough. Next, what we're going to do is rotate around the sight and rotate around the gun here as well. Then we're going to rotate this cheese slope around 180 degrees and rotate the head around 45 degrees, and now all we have to do is kind of situate the arms, bend the elbows a little bit, and there we have Micro Megatron in his robot mode. So like its alt mode, I think this Megatron does a pretty good job at recreating the G1 details in a low poly aesthetic. The fusion cannon ends up being the barrel of the gun instead of the sight, which is something I did on my larger Megatron as well. It's a pretty good way to cheat the transformation and make it a little bit simpler. But it ends up making it so that the part on the back here, which should be the barrel of the gun and sort of becomes this kind of back piece, is black instead of the gray it should be. So yeah, flipping them sort of messes up the colors, but it does a lot in simplifying the transformation. One detail I was able to get on this version that I was not able to get on my larger Megatron was the red that's on the side of the torso here, which I think is a pretty good way to make it sort of more visually interesting with a character that is pretty much entirely gray and black. I do like that I made the 1x1 plate for the head angled 45 degrees, because I think this adds a little bit more dimension to the character and sort of emulates the top of the helmet on Megatron, that sort of angle that shows up there. I also like how I was able to get the angles of the handle on the gun to turn into these sloped back legs, which is accurate to the original G1 design. Megatron's articulation is pretty limited, but given the scale, I think that's alright. His head can rotate side to side, his arms can go up and down and bend 90 degrees at the elbow, which is basically the same arm design as I used for my Micro Prime. The legs can go forward, but not really back because they're limited by this piece on the back here. But also you gotta be careful with this side tile that acts as kind of the side skirt, because this can get thrown out of whack, and sometimes it might just be easier to sort of pull it a little bit apart from the stud here, just to give the clearance for this clip to pass through. He also has sort of like a knee rotation at the leg, as this like transformation stud friction joint here, so that might be useful in getting some poses. And then also I guess you can rotate the T-joint like to the side if you want him to like lean over, but as you can see, that might result in some tiles on the sides being thrown out of whack. Here's Micro Megatron next to my Micro Optimus Prime, and here he is next to a minifigure. As you can see, he's about a head taller than my Optimus Prime, which isn't super accurate to the G1 scaling, but is for some of the other incarnations like the movies and Transformers Animated, so it doesn't bother me that much. That's all I have to say about my Micro Megatron. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see more of these micro LEGO Transformer builds. They're pretty interesting and fun to make. And I'll see you guys next time with my next LEGO Transformer.